Hey guys, it's Adam here, and apologies for the way this video is being filmed. I'm in San Francisco, or more accurately, near San Jose. Yeah, so I'm out here for stuff, but then I'm going down to Los Angeles for E3, and yeah, so I'm on tour, as it were. Not really, but sort of. Yeah, anyway, so we're here to talk about something very specific. Shenmue, a bunch of news has happened in the last day or so, and I want to give my 2 cents on it. For those who don't care about Shenmue, I apologize, but I don't know why you clicked on the video, but thank you for watching anyway. I appreciate that. So for those who do, basically a couple of little news roundup things. A couple small things, then one big discussion subject. So the first thing is, so the Angry Video Game Nerd, James Rolfe, really good dude, met him a few times. He included a copy of Shenmue in a recent episode of his that, you know, he put in as an example of a good game. So appreciate him doing that. But the dude we have to really thank for that is my buddy James Reiner, who apparently just kind of pushed them a lot, and including Justin Silverman, who is a producer of that show and confirmed this. James Reiner is the dude who got Shenmue into an episode of the Angry Video Game Nerd show as a positive example of a video game. So we all thank James for that. Second thing is, there's a new Shenmue 3 trailer for the PS4, available now, but oddly, it's only available at Walmart. And I tried to go check this out myself last night. It's basically, if you go into Walmart's and they have PS4 kiosks, there's a new trailer that's pointing there. It actually has a lot more gameplay footage. It even shows some stuff, characters I didn't even know were going to be in there, but that's mostly because I've been trying to avoid spoilers and stuff like that. But hey, it was there. So you can check that out. There's also a lot of webcam versions and, you know, cell phone rips and all that type of stuff available online if you don't feel like going, but it's there. So that's the small news roundup. Also, apologies for the audio and stuff like that. I have absolutely no control over this, so cars will likely whiz by and all that kind of stuff, but whatever. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes here. The big thing that happened, or didn't happen, depending on how you look at it, is the possibility of Shenmue 3 getting released for Xbox One. Now, this was kind of stunning. So basically what happened here is, yesterday, at the time I record this, there's a Twitter user named Wario64, and he put out a tweet, and I'll put a link to it in the description, that included a whole bunch of information from Deep Silver's website, kind of buried in their website, that showed there was Xbox One data there. Not only the name Xbox One, but like the logo, and for a brief time you could, you know, view the Shenmue 3 page and see an option to pre-order an Xbox One version. It also shows a collector's edition, which nobody seems to be really talking about that. Apparently there's going to be a collector's edition of the game. Cool. Beyond the Kickstarter stuff. But that, you know, whatever. But for now, cool. So it showed all this evidence of an Xbox One build. And so it kind of seemed legit. And I had so many questions about this. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, this doesn't totally make sense, and we'll explore that in a bit. Now, there has been a major update to this situation. Deep Silver has come out publicly on their Twitter, their official Twitter, and denied this. Now, they're claiming there is no plans for an Xbox One version of Shenmue 3, which would go in line with the original understanding of the situation. There was never going to be. But I'm confused. I want to explain the situation as best I think it's going down. So typically, historically, when there's leaks, for legitimate leaks, companies only have two responses. Either they completely ignore the situation, which would have been the logical thing for Deep Silver to do in this case, because E3 is only a couple of days away. So, especially if it was going to be announced at the Xbox stage, that's in like 2 days from the time I record this. So, publicly denying it is not the way to do this. It would just be to kind of ignore it. The alternative is kind of what major companies like Ubisoft do, is if there's a leak and it's legitimate, they eventually just kind of embrace it, like within a day or so. So, like Watch Dogs, the new Watch Dogs was not supposed to be public information. It was supposed to be revealed at Ubisoft's conference at E3, but it leaked out, and so now they're just owning it. They're like, yep, it's a thing. It's going to be a thing, because there's no point in fighting it. You know, it's free PR. So they didn't do that. They denied it. They straight up denied it. And the timing of it suggests that they're probably telling the truth. That, or we have to put our conspiracy hat on here for a second, that or the guy who's running the Deep Silver Twitter just did that in a panic, which I find unlikely, but it is possible. We don't know. I don't know enough about how Deep Silver actually works. I don't know, like, if every tweet is done by committee or if the guy has complete carte blanche to just respond how he wants to respond. But I'm guessing that it's true. So let's explore this. Let's pretend for a second Shenmue 3 was in fact coming to the Xbox One. Let's discuss that. What would that mean? Now, on the surface, it sounds like a really good thing, because it means like the game's going to be on another platform with a massive install base. It can only help, right? Yes, because it opens up the door for obviously the Xbox One, but then who knows? You can throw it up on Stadia or maybe even the Nintendo Switch at some point. Now, the whole reason that any of this is an issue is because the game has been a console exclusive for PS4, as well as obviously there's going to be a PC version. Now, the reason it's a console exclusive is because of Sony's involvement. Sony got involved all the way back in 2015 when no other company had any faith in this project, and they essentially allowed Yu Suzuki to use their stage as a great way to announce this. They also agreed to do publishing and marketing. Now, they did drop from publishing. We know that Deep Silver got involved, and that's good to an extent. It did open the door for multiple platforms, but Sony's still involved in marketing, or at least it's supposed to be. And so this is where I question this, because marketing is a huge financial factor, and if we had the entire empire power of Sony behind us on Shenmue 3, that means a lot more ads, it means a lot more content, it leaves a lot more energy behind them, because Deep Silver doesn't have that kind of capacity. They just don't. But Sony does. So you're essentially, if you're removing that was an agreement of exclusivity. So if they remove that and you give it Xbox One version, you're basically gambling that the Xbox One version will outsell the amount of ad space that Sony could have put behind it. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, most clear evidence we have of this is the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release that Sega did. The Xbox One version of that did massively underperform, largely because the Xbox One base kind of boycotted the game for their own reasons, but it still happened. So I don't know. I don't think that that's plausible, especially with Xbox One only existing in relevance within only a couple of countries, the United States, Canada, Australia, and then various European nations, as opposed to PS4, which has a much wider pull, particularly in Asia and South America, or various South American countries. So, yeah, I'm very conflicted on this, because it tells me one of two things. There is the right reason and the wrong reason to possibly do an Xbox One version. And don't get me wrong, I'm more of an Xbox guy than I am a PlayStation guy. Like, the Xbox One's my console of choice. That's what I use primarily. It's just how it is. But I'm trying to be economical here. I'm trying to be more business oriented. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, dumbass, if it's on more consoles, it could sell more copies. Like, I get that. But if no one knows about it, that doesn't matter. Because Deep Silver does not have that kind of marketing power. So, this tells me one of two things. There's two possible scenarios as to why they would put it on Xbox One. Either they are so confident in the final result of that product that they go, screw the Sony deal, we don't need it, we'll put it on Xbox One and it will outsell. They believe that much. That's the good scenario. And if that's the case, that's fucking incredible. But then there's the alternative. And people pointed this out to me. Shenmue 3 is no longer mentioned as an exclusive at the recent Sony State of Play. You would think with it being right around the corner, they'd have more interest in it. It's very possible, we don't know this, but it's possible, that Sony looked at the game and went, we're not really interested in publishing this anymore, or marketing this anymore. And if that's the case, that means they don't have any confidence in the project. And if that's the case, then there's no reason for Deep Silver not to do an Xbox One version. And if that's the case, it's a cut your losses type of move. It's like, well, this may not do that well, let's also put it on Xbox One because it's an easy port, try to get some sales out of it and call it a day. It's not good news. It's scary news. You should be worried about this if it's true. But apparently it's not, so maybe this doesn't matter at all. And so, I don't know. I guess the final thoughts on this whole process is, it's probably not true. There's probably not an Xbox One version of Shenmue 3. But if there was, there would be reason to be worried about that. And I know that doesn't seem logical to a lot of people. It's like, but more consoles. Duh. It's like, yes, but you have to think about why. Why would they be willing to throw away the entire marketing machine of Sony? Or did they have no choice? Were they forced to? Because Sony thought, this is not a good game. This is not what we want. Just think about it. Think about motivations. Always follow the money. It makes sense. That's how companies work. They follow the money. So all you got to do is follow the money to come up with a logical answer for something. Obviously, we'll find out more in a couple of days at E3. But odds are what we might find out is there's nothing. There's nothing to find out. It was just some ambitious web developer who programmed it wrong. We don't know. But if it, don't get me wrong, because I know a lot of people are thinking like, well, why don't you want it to come out? Like, no, I would love it if it also came out on Xbox One. But again, for the right reasons. And maybe we'll get a timed exclusivity thing on this. Maybe we'll have the best of both worlds here would be let Sony do the entire marketing machine push thing, make the game successful, and then like 6 months to a year do an Xbox One version after Sony doesn't care about it anymore. That is also very possible. But you have to understand that if the game bombs, that will never happen. You also have to understand that this isn't a Japanese game. The Xbox One is completely irrelevant as a brand in Japan. Trust me, it exists very technically, but only because it had to. No one cares about it there. So it's never going to be a priority for them. It would only be if Deep Silver kind of pushed them into it for possibly nefarious reasons. And yeah, so hopefully you see where I'm coming from on that. So yeah, that's, I guess, my final thoughts on the whole situation. I just want to say a couple other things, just so you guys know. Obviously, I'm going to be at E3, so if you see me, hey, hi, how are you doing? You can come up, talk, whatever. I will also be at Too Many Games in Philadelphia. Same thing, that's a new announcement. Yay, I'll be there. And then on top of that, if you wouldn't mind, can you guys please hit subscribe, like, all that stuff. I hate talking about that. I hate saying that. It's annoying as hell. But more and more YouTube's like, hey, if you don't do that, nobody watches. So appreciate it if you could do like and subscribe. That's always nice. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you all later.